Okay, well, welcome everyone. My name is Mr. Holmwood. I'm the head teacher of Shenley Brook End School, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this video in which we try and introduce our new Year 7 to the school. I'm currently sitting in our Leadership and Training Centre in the school building, and I've got some important members of staff with me, members of staff that the Year 7s will quickly get to know. So I'm just going to ask them quickly to introduce themselves, and then I've got a few things to say.
I'm Miss Arkison. I'm the Progress Leader for Year 7, so I'll be with you all the way through your beginning of your journey, all the way through to the end of Year 11.
I'm Miss Element. I'm the Year Leader for Year 7. I'll be with you for the first year to help you through your journey into Shenley Brook End School.
And my name's Mr. Davis, and I'm Assistant Head Teacher, and I look after transfer and transition.
Okay, so this is not the usual way that we'd like to be communicating with you, but for obvious reasons we're making this recording, and the idea is we're going to try and do this in one take. So we'll see how that goes. As you can tell from my colleagues around me, these members of staff, we're a little bit apprehensive, and hopefully you'll see that we're relaxed and that we like working with each other, and that you'll be wanting to engage with us as you join us in September. So a little bit about me. My name, as I said, is Mr. Holmwood, and I've actually been at Shenley Brook End since it opened in 1997. Clearly I was a very young man then, and over the last 23 years I've had lots of different roles at the school. I was head of English and head of drama, and became assistant head teacher and then deputy head teacher. Spent some time running this leadership centre here, and 2 years ago I became the head teacher of the school, and it's been my pleasure to have that role. And although it's been a challenging year this year, it's a really enjoyable job, and I really look forward to welcoming you all here. A little bit about what's important to us as a school community. So we really communicate regularly on a number of themes. I'm just going to introduce those to you. So the first one is what we call BBB, which stands for Belong, Believe, Become. And we really want the young people here to feel that they belong, that this is their school community and they can take an active part within it. And we want them to believe in themselves. We want to encourage that confidence, that self-belief, and that starts with you as students knowing that we, as members of staff here, we believe in you and in your potential. And finally, we're committed to helping you become that great young person that you're going to grow into. You know, we think that your qualities are as important as your qualifications, and the kind of young person that you develop into is really important, because it's great to have great grades, and we hope that through your hard work with us, your qualifications are going to be really, really good and are going to open doors and opportunities for you into the future. But at the end of the day, it's not worth having great qualifications if you're not a very nice person. You know, we want you to be that great brother or sister or son or daughter or partner or colleague. And as you grow, we want to give you the kind of opportunities and teach you the kind of things that are going to help you be that really, really great individual. A phrase we often use about this is about you being the best version of yourself. Now, the other thing we talk about a lot here at Shenley is what we call ASK. And that stands for Attitudes, Skills and Knowledge. And I like the fact that ASK spells ask, because asking is at the heart of being a great learner. There's a story about Einstein, the famous scientist, that when he used to come home from school, his mum always used to say, "What question did you ask today?" She didn't ask, "What did you do today? What did you learn?" She was interested in his curiosity and in developing his curiosity. And we want you to be curious learners. And that's why we celebrate and reward and promote 5 attitudes. And amongst them, curiosity and creativity, and commitment and consistency and cooperation. And we feel that if you can really build those attitudes at the start of Year 7, you're setting yourself up to be a really successful learner. We think skills are really important as well. And we've got a word that we use to promote skills in school, and that's tensile. Now, you may not be familiar with that word, although it's a word you're going to hear a lot, But tensile means capable of being stretched. And we want to stretch you intellectually, academically, interpersonally, emotionally. We want you to learn to be flexible and to grow and to shape new aspects of your personality. And tensile is actually what we call an acronym. An acronym is a word that is essentially made up of an abbreviation, but it spells a word in its own right. So the acronym TENSILE stands for teamwork, expression, numeracy, solving problems, independence, literacy and inquiry. And I really like the fact that I can go around the school and I can talk to students, and students will say to me, "Sir, I've just been really tensile today in geography," or "I've been really tensile in PE." But of course, being tensile in geography might be different from being tensile in PE. In geography, it might be around your field work, where your teamwork has had to be really, really good. Whereas being tensile in PE might mean that you've been part of a dodgeball team, or you've played badminton, and you've had to work with different people in different ways. So that's the attitudes and the skills. And the K, of course, is knowledge. And excuse the pun, but you'll know all about that. You've spent years learning facts, learning new things. And the great opportunity at secondary school is you get to acquire your knowledge in a subject-specific way. Now, I know that most of you have had a good look around our school building, and you'll know it's very different from the kind of building that you've been used to learning in. I know that this building is huge in comparison to the schools that you've been in. But that's because it's full of facilities and science labs, gyms, sports halls, DT workshops, food workshops and so on. And the idea is that your knowledge in your schools will grow because you've got access to all of those special areas that are set up specifically for subjects. Now in a moment I'm going to hand over, but I just need to mention the fact that if any of you are a bit confused, we are a school within what's called a trust. Now a trust is the name for a group of schools, and we are members of the 5 Dimensions Trust along with the Hazley Academy. And at the 5 Dimensions Trust we believe in growing a vibrant community of exceptional people. And we really hope that's the kind of experience that you have, that you do feel a member of a vibrant community, that you do feel you have every opportunity to grow into being that exceptional person. So, at this point, I'm going to say, I know that things aren't as they normally are, and that we're not able to communicate with you in the way that we'd like to, but we really hope you find this video helpful. And I know that many of you are coming from lots of different schools and that you'll have lots of different questions, and I will answer some of those questions in a moment. But I'm just aware that I've been speaking for a long time. You probably need a different face and a different voice. So I'll come back to answer a couple of those other questions later. So at this point, I'm going to hand back over to Mr. Davis, who's sitting on my right.
Hi there. Just so again, I'm an assistant head teacher in charge of transfer and transition. Just wanted to acknowledge both the students and parents. You know, we're very aware how different this year is. It's very different for you. It's very different for us. We've put a lot of work into sort of revamping and changing our transfer and transition provision to make sure you get a really good feel for this school before you come and join us, and to make sure that when we do see you, and I do hope that's in September, though we're not in a position to say whether that will or will not happen at the minute, that you guys fit right in with our Shenny Brook End School community. So we wrote to you a week or so ago letting you know what the provision would be, and then we will also contact you twice over the coming weeks. Obviously one of the things you'll get to see is this video. Hopefully I don't look as silly as I feel currently. But within that there will be things like a student booklet for students to work through and hopefully answer questions they may have. There's a parent booklet as well to help support those parents and those carers out there. There's a tour of the school that's been narrated to again give you a feel, a real sense of feel for what this building's like inside. There's also going to be a transition project booklet, which for those students and Year 6 students who aren't in school, they could have a go at home. And for those students that are in school, we'll also we'll get it to the schools as well. So basically we've got this virtual provision, virtual package, which means that when we do see you, that you will already know who we are, you will already know what we're about, and hopefully that means you can become part of our community. So I look forward to meeting you soon. Hopefully, as I said, that will be in September, though we can't commit to that just yet, but we will keep you updated on that as well. So thank you for your time, and we look forward to seeing you soon. I'll hand back to Mr. Holmwood now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davis. So I was going to answer a couple of the questions that we often get each year from students that are joining us. And one is to do with the size of our building. A lot of students are concerned they're going to get lost. Now, first thing to say is, although the building looks big and looks complicated, after a week or two you're going to feel really at home here and you're going to be used to the way that we move around. The building looks like one building, but it's actually four, and it was built in 4 stages. So the one with the reception right in the middle is what we call phase 1. The one on the left-hand side of the school, as you look at it, with the big sports hall, is what we call phase 2. The one on the right-hand side of the school, as you look at it, with the theatre, is phase 3. And then the big building on the back is phase 4, which is our newest building, which was opened a couple of years ago. Now, you will normally come into the building either in phase 3 or phase 2, depending which side of the school you live. And there's a big, huge open wide corridor that we call the street that runs all the way through the building. So basically, if ever you're lost, you just walk along the street until you get to somebody that you know, or you get to reception, and you can ask somebody where you need to go. The school is basically built on a long gradual curve, but I reckon if you tried, you could probably walk in a straight line all the way from one end of the building to the other. So basically, you're just walking up and down a long straight line most of the time. Somebody once said to me they reckon that the distance from the phase 2 door to the phase 3 door is a bit like walking from John Lewis to Marks and Spencer's in the city centre. I think the city centre is bigger, but imagine walking along from one end to the other. You soon get to know where things are, and it becomes easy not to get lost. And by the way, lots of people are looking forward to welcoming you, and older students will be having jobs helping Year 7s. They always enjoy showing them around and getting to know them and supporting them. And I know Miss Arkison in this element will be talking a little bit about that as well. So really don't get worried about getting lost. And in association with that, don't be worried if you're late. If you're late because you've got lost, we will understand. So these are things that we know students sometimes worry about over the summer before they join us in September. And the other question I often get, although it's not a very nice subject, is about being bullied. You're coming into the school as often the smallest, certainly the youngest, of our students. And we have students up to the age of 18 or 19 in the school building. And I suppose it's natural just to worry a little bit about how they are going to react to you. Well, the vast majority of them are looking forward to you joining. They're looking forward to you joining because it's a change and it's something exciting and new. They're also looking forward to you joining because it means they're moving up into another year group. They couldn't do that unless you were moving up into another year group. And they're excited about the changes and the opportunities for them. We very, very rarely have a problem with a Year 7 student being bullied by an older student. So I really don't want you to worry about that. But I am going to be honest with you, and this is something I think it's worth discussing at home. Where we do get bits of bullying in Year 7, often it's Year 7s. And I think the reason really is that young people sometimes get a bit upset when there's a change. And you're all coming from different schools and you're all getting to know new people. And in particular, sometimes your friendship groups start to change. And sometimes that upsets people and they say things that aren't very kind. And then that means that people get upset. And a lot of the year leader team and the progress team spend their time helping you as young people to learn about how to deal with that change. And I think that's something it's worth me just being honest about. Because now I've said it, you understand that we understand that these things can be difficult. And you can just say, I think I'm feeling a little bit like Mr. Holmwood said I might, because my friend from school that I used to do this with is now doing this with somebody else, and I'm feeling a bit left out. And rather than getting upset about it or maybe saying something unkind, you could just share it, and we could help you to discuss it and think about how you can feel more comfortable in school. So I just thought I would say that, because I think it's something for parents to help you with, and I think it's something for you to think about and not to worry about. And I hope that's been helpful to address. Now, we do have other questions to answer, and at this point I'm going to be asking Miss Arkison and Miss Ellerman about a number of them. So firstly, Miss Arkison, I know that this year group are going to get to know you really well, because you've got a commitment to stay with them as they go through the school, which is a long time, isn't it?
It is a long time, yes.
And so tell us a little bit about your experience of the school. How long have you been here?
So I've been teaching here for 13 years, but I was lucky enough prior to that to actually attend school here, which is a bit of my interesting fact about myself that you'll get to know.
So you must have met this really young, good-looking teacher called Mr. Holmwood back in the day.
I think I do remember someone that might have been called Mr. Holmwood, yes. So my experience was very similar to what you're going to be going through now, but we were going through into year 8 at the time, because that's when secondary school students, or when students transitioned from primary school, was into year 8 instead of year 7. So it was a very similar experience. It was a little bit more daunting, I would say, at times, because it was a completely new building and new staff, and there wasn't older ones to look up to. And I think that's the advantage that you will get from coming to the school, is that you'll see how well we're able to do things as a school and the community that we have here. And so luckily enough, I was part of that group that was able to help build some of that community. So in terms of me, a little bit more about me, you'll probably get taught by me at some point. I'm a PE teacher, so there's probably a high chance that either I'll come across you in an extracurricular club, or even in the classroom. I have also heard rumours that I might get the chance to teach a little bit of maths this year as well, which I've also taught in the past, so I might even get to see some of you then. But yeah, so my experience here has been a lengthy one, but very much loved, and I really look forward to being able to get to meet you all and to help you to really grow on that journey. I think in the first instance, we talk a lot about our ASK and our BBB, and so a lot of my role is going to be helping you to understand that a lot more alongside all of your teachers and your form tutor, who you'll get to know as well very well, and we will be that kind of core group of staff around you that will support you on that journey.
And tell us a bit about your role. What's your job title? What will students call you?
So I'm your progress leader, and ultimately it is as it sounds, so it's about trying to look after your progress, so how well you are performing in terms of in your subject areas, and trying to really access and to reach that potential that you have. Now that doesn't go to say that it is about being the top of the person in every single class. It's about actually achieving your potential and what that looks like for you, and trying to see are there any barriers to that and how we can support you in unlocking some of those doors and trying to help you get the best out of your education whilst you're here.
And how do students get in touch with you on a normal day?
So most of the time, so we have a progress leader office, which is at the entrance of phase 2 and 1, which is right next to the year leader's office as well, so near Humanities 1. So you're welcome to always come and knock on my door and to see if I'm around. In terms of parents as well, if any parents need to get in contact, then I'm also accessible via email, or you can put in a call to reception and to be able to leave a message on our progress leader office phone.
Now, you mentioned form tutors, and one of the things that you're involved with is their form time programme. Can you tell us a bit about that, please?
Yeah, it's a really lovely and exciting opportunity that we have for you whilst you're here at Shenley. And in the mornings you'll have about 20 minutes every single day with your form tutor, and that time is dedicated on building and developing the key skills that we want to invest in school here. And we talk a lot about qualities. So across the year we'll focus on 6 key qualities that we would like you to be able to develop. And as Mr. Holmwood said earlier, it's not just about getting you those exam grades or those qualifications, it's about building you into very well-rounded people that will be able to go and make a difference in the world. So the Form Time programme really is kind of dedicated towards that, but also gives you opportunities to compete in what we call our house system as well, which you will come to be a part of.
Okay. Is there anything you're particularly looking forward to with the new Year 7?
I'm looking forward to getting to meet all of you and to see what you're all like. We've spent a lot of time, myself and Mrs. Element, talking to your primary school teachers during this time. I feel like I know a lot of you already, but it would be lovely to put names and faces together.
Great, well thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Now you've mentioned Mrs. Element, so I'm going to turn to you, and would you like to introduce yourself in a bit more detail?
Yes, Sally. I'm Miss Element. I'm the year leader for Year 7. So I'll be joining you on your journey through Shenley in the first year. I'll make sure that obviously you settle and any questions that you need to answer, that I'm here to help you. Interesting facts about me. Now, me and Mr. Holmwood, I'm not going to tell you the name of the football team, support the same team. So it might be a challenge for you to try and find out. I'll give you some clues. Bubbles and claret and blue. And that's all I'm going to say. So hopefully that will help you.
And we're not talking social distancing bubbles.
No, we're not talking social distancing. No,
So
definitely not social distancing. So I've been at Shenley Brook End School for 15 years. I started off as a teaching assistant, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So I used to go into classes with students, and I actually then transitioned to working in our inclusion centre, which worked with quite a large majority of the students throughout the school. And then the role of year leader came up, and that really interested me because I wanted to see the journey for Year 7, particularly to start their journey into Shenley and help them settle. My background before I came to Shenley was working in primary school, so actually I will know how you feel as well, coming from a smaller school to a larger school. So even though I was an adult, I still found it very nervous time, even like this video as well. Not my forte to help, but no, I wanted to do that journey with you, so I'm really looking forward to that.
okay, thank you. And how do students and parents get in touch with you?
Okay, so as Miss Arkison said, my office is the year leaders office, just from progress leaders. I am based in there majority of the day, unless I'm walking around checking in lessons, seeing how you're settling into your classrooms. I actually spend the first few weeks walking around school, so I will be wearing my Fitbit to make sure that I'm getting up the steps. So you can come and knock on the door. We're always there, always ready to answer your questions. Come and see me break times, lunch times, at the beginning of the school day, the end of the school day. As parents, you can contact me by phone so that you can go through reception. If I'm not at my desk, I will always return your call, and you can email me as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Because there's some details that we're not going to share today that we normally would, just because we're not doing this in the normal way. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
So, your friendships, as I know Mr. Holmwood has touched on, is a big challenge for Year 7s when you come into us. You will find that you've been with your group of small friends that you've been there possibly since you were 3, 4 years old, so you've known each other for a long time. The biggest thing I have to deal with and work with you is it's okay to have new friends. It's alright to have new friends, and keep your old friends as well. And I actually don't use the word best friend, because actually you can have a lot of good friends that will make your journey through school. And I will tell you, if I had £1 for every time somebody came to me and said their friends had fallen, I'd be probably sitting on the beach at the moment in the sunshine. But your friendship group will change throughout the whole time. It'll be a whole journey through Shenley Brook End School. But that's good, because the more you learn about different people, the more it will help you as you get older. And I also, my friendship group has changed from when I was in school to even when I was in work previously, to my first job, to my job now. So it's a good learning curve.
Great. Okay, yeah, if you think you've got a year group of 300 students that you're joining, so great opportunities to make many, many new friends. Okay, just before we finish, is there anything we want to say, Mr. Davis, about the way that we are working with transition at the moment that we haven't said?
The only thing I'd add on top of what we've already said is if you do need to get in contact with the school, I know Ms. Arkison and Ms. Element have said about their email addresses, but for now the best way to contact us is through our inquiries email address, which is on the school website, and you can go through our website and get that, and any queries at this point they'll probably come through to me, which is absolutely fine, but please read through everything we send out. Please also be patient with us, but if you have got a question, of course you should ask it, and we'll do our very best to get back to you as soon as we can.
And we'll continue to work with the primary schools that you're in, and making sure communication is good, so that you get to know us and we get to know you as well as possible in these circumstances. And we're really looking forward in particular to you getting involved in the transition project, which is called Introducing Me, and we're hoping that you're going to introduce yourself to us through that project in a really enjoyable way, so we're looking forward to sharing that with you. So, I'm going to do something that I think is a bit strange, but I've noticed everybody does it at the moment when they're online, when they're on Zoom or Teams or whichever app they're communicating through. Have you noticed people wave at each other when they finish talking? So we haven't practiced this, but I think it'd be great to say goodbye to you all. Take care, and I hope that you found this useful and enjoyable. So, bye everyone for now.
See you soon. Bye.